Just a season ago, a new star emerged on the NBA landscape. 22-year-old Jordan Poole, a shooting guard for the Golden State Warriors, ascended from obscurity, transforming from a bench warmer to a breakout sensation. He not only assisted Steph Curry in leading the Warriors back to the NBA Finals, but also played a pivotal role in their triumph over the Boston Celtics in the championship series. Such was the extent of Poole's meteoric rise that the Warriors bestowed upon him for their max contract, a 4-year deal worth $128 million. An unfathomable sum for a player barely known to fans 2 seasons prior. So what's happened with the once promising young star this season? Despite his impressive statistics, there's a noticeable disconnect in both his body language and decision-making. He appears to be a mere shadow of the player we observed last season, and fans, coaches, and players are growing increasingly frustrated with them. A couple years back, Poole's contribution was quite humble, averaging just 12 points per game and starting only 7 games. He was essentially a role player off the bench for the Warriors. However, the tide began to turn at the end of that season. In the play-in tournament, Poole displayed signs of his upcoming prowess, which put fans and critics on notice, even though the Warriors lost to the Memphis Grizzlies. During the following season, Poole's scoring average escalated from 12 to 18.5 points a game, and his assists doubled from 2 to 4 per game. This level of performance from a young player sparked comparisons to Steph Curry and began the Poole era in mainstream media. However, the decision to grant the max contract to Poole, a 22-year-old player with only 1 breakout season under his belt, meant that proven veteran Draymond Green couldn't secure his sought-after extension. Green, a key player in the Warriors' numerous championships, was expectedly not overwhelmed by joy. Unfortunately, this decision was not without ramifications. Before the next season could even take off, the news of a heated altercation between Poole and Green erupted, resulting in the rising star being knocked out, casting a shadow over the team's dynamics. While they publicly patched things up, one can't deny the potential psychological impact of such an incident on a young player like Poole, who was just 23 at the time. It was a moment that went viral, drawing the unwavering gaze of media and fans alike, and possibly shaking Poole's mental fortitude. Despite this, Poole's statistical performance remained impressive, boosting a career high of 20 points per game, even though only starting half of the games. His minutes on the court were equivalent to last year's, and his field goals made per game have slightly improved. However, the major issue lies not in these numbers, but in his consistency or lack thereof. This inconsistency, coupled with the immense pressure and expectations that come with the max contract, seemed to affect Poole's mental game. A viral knockout incident, constant media scrutiny, and comparisons to Curry took a toll on his confidence. As a result, Poole's game often oscillated between brilliance and mediocrity. Now the question remains, what does the future hold for Jordan Poole? The answer, quite honestly, is known best by Poole himself. However, from an outsider's perspective, it seems that Poole's attempts to prove himself as the next Stephen Curry might have backfired. The Warriors needed him to be the best version of himself rather than a Curry replica. The media, fans, and even his coach Steve Kerr seem to have contributed to the pressure, quick to criticize his mistakes and pull him from games. This has likely led to a mental block, where Poole plays not to make mistakes rather than to excel, which in part could have stemmed from the jarring decision of the team to prioritize a young, rising talent over a proven veteran, a key player in their past championships. The contract decision was not a mistake per se, as Poole had demonstrated on multiple occasions that he could be the best player on the court for the Warriors. He was seen by many as the future Splash Brother, and some even speculated he could fill the shoes of Steph Curry when the time came. Poole's playmaking abilities led the Warriors to entrust him with more ball-handling responsibilities, a decision that was reflected in his position switch from shooting guard to point guard. Yet, it's become evident that with his increased responsibility, Poole's turnovers have surged. This season, he averages 3 turnovers per game, compared to his second season's average of just 1. It appears that as Poole has been given more freedom, he has also become more reckless. The heightened expectations, the comparisons to Curry, the max contract, and the public altercation with the team veteran might have inflated Poole's ego and subsequently led to its bruising. This ego bruising likely translated to a hit on his confidence. There were instances throughout the season when Poole shone brilliantly, taking over in the fourth quarter, carrying the team to victory. Yet these sparks of brilliance were often followed by lackluster performances. This inconsistency points towards the mental aspect of his game that might have been impacted by the events of the past year. In the regular season, the Warriors might have been more tolerant of Poole's inconsistency, hoping that he would learn from his errors. But as the team's performance declined and they found themselves in dire need of a reliable output from Poole, the patience began to wane. Fans too began to lose their patience, putting even more pressure on the young player. This increased scrutiny might have compounded Poole's anxiety of making mistakes, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy where he ended up making more errors due to the fear of making them. Heading into the playoffs, Poole's minutes were cut, further denting his confidence. His frustration was evident during Game 4 against the Lakers in the second round when he was benched by Steph Curry. His performance was far from his best, with turnovers and missed shots plaguing his time on the court. Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons podcast made the same observation. He was present at the game and saw it as his duty to scrutinize Poole's body language. The Poole thing is really dark, it's bad. The second half of that game, for parts of it, he had his hood over his head like he was wearing a hoodie, and he just had dead eyes. He was just lost. He looked completely checked out of it, bummed out, like he lost his dog. So what's happened to Jordan Poole? In simple terms, I think he fell victim to the perfect storm of heightened expectations, pressure, and a series of unfortunate events. His attempts to fill the massive shoes of Steph Curry, the effects of media scrutiny, the viral incident with Green, and the mounting pressure from the team and fans have all likely contributed to his current struggles. The road to recovery for Poole will likely involve a mental reset, which might require a significant amount of off-season meditation, professional guidance from sports psychologists, or performance coaches. These professionals can help Poole manage his expectations and navigate the high-pressure environment that comes with professional sports. Additionally, they can work with him on strategies to block out external noise and focus on his game. It's crucial that the Golden State Warriors organization support him during this period. They can provide resources and establish an environment conducive to his growth, both as a player and an individual. The team's veterans, particularly Steph Curry and Draymond Green, can also play a vital role in mentoring Poole. They've been through the highs and lows of the league, and their experiences can provide invaluable lessons for Poole. Next season will be pivotal for Jordan Poole. He will need to improve not just as a talented player, but as a consistent performer who can handle the pressure of being a key player for a championship contending team. He will need to demonstrate that he can bounce back from adversity, a trait necessary for all successful athletes. Even though Poole has been underperforming, it's important to remember that he is still young and developing. He has plenty of room to grow and improve, and he possesses the talent and potential to do so. Poole is a player with a high ceiling, and if he can overcome this rough patch, he can still become the player the Warriors envisioned when they extended his contract. Speaking of contract extensions, Nikola Jokic can get an extension anytime he wants with the Denver Nuggets. The big Serb just had an incredible conference semifinals against the Suns and put up historical performances throughout the 6 games. What Nikola has done on a basketball court this season is nothing short of amazing and something that has never been done or seen before. I made a video about what makes Jokic the best player in the NBA, his MVP snub, and why everyone loves the humble center. Check it out.